Do you tell others about what you think is worth telling? No one was ever given exact directions. You were turned loose in a region, and the assignment was to see what is really there. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What actually is the human condition?
This is one of the world's most famous photographs. It's commonly known as Migrant Mother, and it was taken by Dorothea Lange in 1936 during the Great Depression. In the U.S. Library of Congress, the photograph is labeled as Destitute Pea Pickers in California. And there are two stories here. The story of the photograph, which has been famous since 1936, and the story of its subject, who was, as it turns out, not a pea picker, and whose identity wasn't known until the late 1970s.
In March 1936, Dorothea Lange was driving through Nipomo, California on her way home after a long day of work for the Resettlement Administration. Lange was riding home having finished her work, film ready to be sent back to Washington, when she passed a pea pickers camp. But Lange passed them by, exhausted from the day's work. It was 20 more miles before she turned around. She didn't stay at the camp long. In about 10 minutes, she would be back on the road again, but not before taking one of the most iconic pictures in the history of photography. This is the photograph you probably know.
Dorothea was born on May 26, 1895 in Hoboken, New Jersey to German immigrants Henry Nutzhorn and Joan Lange. Dorothea's father was a successful lawyer with strong political connections. Both parents appreciated culture and education and exposed Dorothea and her younger brother Martin to Shakespeare, plays, and concerts. In 1902, Dorothea contracted polio, an event the photographer later said shaped her need and drive for independence. As a result of the polio, Dorothea was left with a permanently twisted foot and a limp, which her mother encouraged her to try to hide beneath her clothes. The polio and the abandonment of her father in 1907 were two incidents that Dorothea later said shaped her formative years.